friends, I'm Robin Fike at Stamping Country. Welcome to my stamping studio. Today we're going to make this really cute card. We're going to use a technique called Joseph's coat. So all you Bible scholars out there know the story of Joseph and his coat of many colors. Look at the shine in all the colors in this technique. We're going to use the Well Done stamp set along with its matching Whale Builder punch. You can purchase them together and save 10%. We're going to need a piece of Coastal Cabana cardstock. It's cut 11 by 4 1/4 and scored at 5 1/2. And you're going to need 2 pieces of Whisper White cardstock. They're cut 5 inches by 3 3/4 inches. We're going to need a stack of ink. For this card I use Flirty Flamingo, Costa Cabana, Bermuda Bay, Pacific Point, and Just Jade. Yes, I used a lot of blues and greens, and they're sort of close in together in color. So I added that pop of Flirty Flamingo. I think it looks fabulous. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is, this is going to be random. So I'm starting with Just Jade, and I'm adding some ink to my cardstock with a sponge. You can go as light or as dark as you want. The thing of it is, you want to cover your entire paper with ink. Next, I'm going to add some Flirty Flamingo. I for sure want some where I'm going to have my coral. I'm going to put some up here. Wouldn't that be fun to have a little bit in another spot? That little pop of unexpected color, I guess. Alright, what are we going to do next? Let's use some Bermuda Bay. I really like this color on this card. I like all the colors, let's face it. Okay, so we'll add some, yeah, isn't that pretty? This one's a little more blue than green, but it definitely has some green in it. And I'm going to put my Bermuda Bay in a couple different spots. Notice I'm not overthinking where everything is. You just want to get the ink on your paper. Let's go with this Pacific Point. Now this is a lot darker than the other colors, but it really does add some dimension. Besides, we can't make an ocean card without Pacific Point, right? And then a little bit of Coastal Cabana, which is close in color to the Just Jade, but it is definitely different. Sort of change it up a little bit. Blends it together. Beautiful. I feel like we need some more Pacific Point. What do you think? Just that one corner doesn't seem to be enough. Let's add a few more patches. A little here. A little there. You can see how each card could be different depending on what you decide to do that day with your colors. Beautiful. Love it. Alright. Not super impressive yet. Let's get to our technique. So the next thing we're going to do is we need to prep our surface because we're going to do some embossing. You can use either a dryer sheet, or if you're lucky enough to have an old embossing folder, use that to prepare your surface for embossing. You don't want that embossing powder to stick where the oils from your fingers have been on the cardstock. You want crisp, clear images. I'm using Versamark ink. And again, the Well Done stamp set. We'll start by stamping some of our, what are they? Ocean grasses across the bottom. This corner, this corner. Oh, one more. I'm coming down a little bit with this one so they're varied in height. I definitely wanted to save room for a little bit of coral. So we'll ink up our coral. So I have images stamped across the bottom. I know you can't see them. Be patient. When this technique comes to life, you'll be able to see them. And then I also wanted some images across the top. And we'll sort of save that middle for the whale and the sentiment. So here's the sea turtle. I think everybody loves sea turtles, right? It'll be interesting to see what the extra pop of pink. I didn't put that flamingo at the top of my other last card. This is a seahorse and a school of fish. Cute, cute. Not really. Doesn't look like much yet. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is add our clear embossing powder. You can see a little bit where the embossing powder is, but it's actually sort of ugly right now. But trust me, it's going to be beautiful. So we need to set our embossing powder, or melt it, whatever you want to say there. You can see how our stamped images are beginning to pop just a little bit with the heat embossing. But this show's not over, folks. Okay, so once you have that heat set, this Joseph's coat technique is similar to the embossed resist technique. Now, a lot of times with the Joseph coat, you'll see people use black ink. I'm going to use the Night of Navy because I think it goes just a little bit better with my ocean theme. Plus, I wanted to use Night of Navy, so there. So begin sponging on your Night of Navy right over all your other inks. And you'll see how the embossed areas just really pop. Now you can go as light or as dark as you want on this. With the lighter you can see more of the color coming through. But if you go darker, the embossed areas are even more pronounced. So you'll have to decide where you want to stop with this. If you go really dark, it tends to almost look like you used Night of Navy cardstock. It is a little messy because you're putting lots and lots of ink on this paper. You can also, when you're finished adding your ink, you can take a piece of tissue and wipe over the embossed areas. Make sure you get the ink off of the embossed areas, but it looks pretty good. I'm so glad I used that Flirty Flamingo up at the top too. Look at that little seahorse. Beautiful. I told you I'd come through with that. Alright, now we're going to add our little middle pieces. A little bit of ribbon and a sentiment and the whale. So I cut my rectangle with the stitched rectangle dies. This is one of the smaller dies in the set. And I'm going to stamp the sentiment from the Well Done stamp set. I'm going to use Pacific Point ink. Ink it up. Oh, let's try not to do that upside down. My love for you is bigger than the ocean. Yeah, that Pacific Point on the Coastal Cabana really pops. Going to use another piece of Coastal Cabana cardstock, and we're going to go ahead and stamp that whale. Oh, I guess I should push it up so you can see it. Cute. Now we're going to punch our whale with the Whale Builder punch. You notice it has a lot of pieces. We're only going to use 2 of those pieces today. Some of the extra pieces are to make a contrast on his belly or for his fins or that sort of thing. But today, for today's card, we're just going to use the water spout and the stamped whale. Again, this is a Coastal Cabana cardstock base, 11 by 4 1/4, scored at 5 1/2. And then we're going to add that last piece of Whisper White cardstock. Ooh, I have a little bit of ink on here. Hopefully it won't show. It's just a little bit of highlight behind our Joseph's coat panel. Here's our water spout. We're going to pop up our whale with dimensionals. This is really coming together. Sentiment there. I'm going to add just a little bit of ribbon because I think this white ribbon really highlights our focal point. So I ran a piece of adhesive across the front of my card, and I'm just basically just weaving it, or not weaving it, sort of rolling it in and out. We'll pop up our sentiment with Stampin' Dimensionals. Well, I really want to get that sentiment upside down, don't I? Beautiful! So you can see they're different depending on how I sponge, but I really do like that Flirty Flamingo up on that seahorse too. Thanks so much for stopping by. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. Have a fabulous day.